One. Hey everybody, and welcome to Angel Meadows Conversation with Friends. Let me just make sure that everybody in the chat room gets to hit refresh so that they can hear us. And I wish I should have this pre-typed up before. Okay. My guest tonight is Jordie Jane's cat. Now, the cat wants to be on air, wants to be live with Mama Dee and Jordie. My guest this evening is Jordie Jane. She is from Australia. So good morning, first off, and thank you for being here. Our guest, so far the only guest I see in the chat room is Donna Ravenbrook. So thanks for showing up, Donna. But I have a feeling that there's glitches going on with the internet because it's kind of sort of normal. With my show, there's always some kind of glitch about something, somewhere, somehow. So I've learned not to stress. So, hey, Jordie, thanks for agreeing to come on.
Oh, no, darling, thank you so much for inviting me to come on today. It was awesome. And good evening for over there, by the way. And I feel like you sent your weather over here, too. It's very cold, even though it's spring turning into summer. It is very cold over here at the moment.
And the snow and the rain, so be happy.
We're praising the rain, don't get us wrong, but it's still cold.
Very true. Well, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name's Jordie James. I'm a psychic medium, a mother of two, and a beautiful husband as well. I have, as you can hear, a cat, or I've got two cats and a dog. I live in country Victoria, which is about, say, 45 minutes from the city of Melbourne. And a little bit about myself, long story short, I grew up in Victoria but moved around Australia. I've actually lived in Perth, Western Australia, and Darwin in Northern Territory. So I've actually done the full git of Australia pretty much. I've travelled right around, actually. I've done through the middle and everything as well. My journey with spirituality, being a medium, was quite an interesting one. My mother and myself went to a weekend away with Lisa Williams. I don't know if you've ever heard of Lisa Williams. So it was a beautiful weekend. We went to see her show, actually, in Melbourne. And they had these flyers going saying, come and enjoy a beautiful weekend to open up your intuition. It was an intimate weekend, and it ended up being 1,000 people.
Yeah, that's
It wasn't intimate, but it was intimate enough because that weekend was my aha moment, realizing that I was a medium, that I did have these gifts to share, which was quite interesting because we sat down in a circle and we basically did mediumship in a circle, and they said, oh, you can go first. And I'm like, no, Mum's more professional, she can do it, because my mum's an actual medium as well, like sort of runs in the family on my mum's side. And and the rest is history. I've sat in circle, and everything's just flourished from there. So, yeah.
Okay. So you said your mom, I love the way you said it. My mom's an actual medium. So are you. But I like the way you put it when you said that you had a family of natural mediums, and it's on your mom's side. So is it just the women on your mom's side? Or is it...
No, I had a reading done about 12 years ago, and the lady that read for me said that it goes back through the women, but there was also a gentleman as well, going back probably in the 1800s. So if we follow my grandmother's side back. So, yeah, which is quite interesting. My dad's adopted, so I don't have a lot of information on his side at this stage. So we're working on that at the moment. So, yeah.
Well, that'll be interesting once you find out your dad's lineage and how that, if that connects into the spiritual realm.
I've got a sense that he is, but it's just, especially with the last name, that he was, his natural birth name is an interesting name, and it's not very common in Australia. In Australia. So yeah, it's quite interesting. Sorry, just bear with me. So yeah.
Now you said you're married and you have 2 children. When you and your husband got married, did he know the spiritual side, the medium side?
He did actually. It was quite interesting. Sorry, it's just someone come at the door, and I'm in the study because of my beautiful wireless has been playing up today. So it must be we're not trying to buy into Mercury retrograde, but we just got to go with the flow. So I'm actually at the front at the moment, so someone's just come to the door. So he knew that I was actually working with my intuition, because tomorrow we'll be married for 20 years. So it's my wedding anniversary tomorrow, but we've been together for 23. And the first thing he said to me, he goes, "Just don't read me." And I went, "That's okay." And I still, to this day, have not read for him. So, but yeah, he's embracing it. So, which is cool. He actually calls me the ghost whisperer, which is pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
A lot of nice who are in our lives can get that. Yeah, it's okay, but just I don't need to. Yeah, okay, not a problem. I won't need you. Yeah. But then they get kind of curious and go, "Let's see what card you got for today." And your kids, how old are they?
So my son is 22 and my daughter is 15. So, and they've both got, for me, the way I believe is everyone's got the gift. It's just if they want to step into it in this life or not. So I was basically pushed by spirit to go, "No, you need to do this." And I'm like, okay.
Okay.
But my son both of them are very intuitive. My son had some experiences in the old house that we used to live in, which was quite an interesting one. And he has Asperger's, so a form of autism.
Okay.
He's high functioning, so he's what they call very intelligent. Yeah. And there was one day, and this is what I love about, we better nickname him Matthew because he's absolutely gorgeous. And he has those beautiful traits of Asperger's, and he's got the real gentleness around him. And then one day I was coming home and he rang me, he goes, "Mum, the bathroom door closed on its own." I went, he was about 15, 16. I went, and? He goes, "But I was nowhere near it." I'm like, "Oh God, here we go." And so I went, "Okay." And he goes, and I said, "Is there any windows?" Because I always go the scientific route. So I'm a very healthy skeptic in a way. I do a lot of things with this beautiful work that we do in a sort of beautiful skeptic, make sure nothing else can explain it before I go, "Okay, yes, now." Like, you just can't explain it. So I said, "Any of the doors open, any of the windows open?" He goes, "No, Mum, nothing." And I went, "Okay, cool." And I said, "Well, just open it and everything, because the sink's nowhere near the bathroom door." And then he opened it, and it closed again on its own. And he goes, "Mom." So I went, "Okay, so just surround yourself with white light, ask for Archangel Michael to come in and protect you." And we've got a hallway that goes, like the old place that we used to have a long hallway. So he walked down the hallway. He didn't tell me this until after I got home. And basically he felt this whoosh go past him, but no sort of windows and everything. And I found that out at the end, but as I was driving home, my husband gets home before me and goes, "Why are all the lights on and why is Brent outside in the backyard?" And I explained what happened, and he goes, "Oh, So this is where he sort of took it literally because of the Asperger's. He goes, I'll just turn all the lights on because that's white light. So yeah, it was quite a gorgeous thing. But yeah, he is very intuitive. He sort of looks at you can sort of see where he picks it up. So it's quite interesting. And my daughter, I think it was last year, I had some of my oracle cards out, and she grabbed them, and then I said, okay, we'll shuffle them and see what you get. And she pulled this card out, and she goes, Mum, what does this card mean? I said, I don't know. Why don't you read it and you tell me? And she went into it, and I said, okay, let's just put these cards away and come back and see me in a couple of years. She was pretty spot on, and I was like, oh wow.
Yeah. But it's fun that your kids understand it. But I think what's more fun is that when your kids are willing to spread their wings, they can actually talk to their mom about it. Because how many kids are growing up, and how many, like for me and my family, growing up, I didn't have that option. So it was never something we discussed. So it wasn't until for me when I was in 2012 that I sort of opened up a little more public-wise. Everything else was quiet. Yes. So your kids are lucky that they actually, can talk to you, and I think it's going to be a fun one with the little teenagers running through the house.
Yeah, it was interesting because I grew up with my mum having a Ouija board that she made on her, for herself. So out of cardboard, and she made it up for herself. And so I've always grown up with it being a tool, nothing disrespectful, nothing bad or anything like that. I've always had this beautiful respect for it as a tool. And basically I used to pull that out and play with it when I was like 8, 9 and 10. So it's always been in my family. And so it's been a very interesting, for me, upbringing, because I brought up in what we call bush country, and we used to go out, and I love forest, I love bush, because I'm a bit of a wood nymph. I love my elves and everything, my fairies. So I've always been connected to the forest and things like that. So growing up, I was quite lucky to connect that way. Mum being there, not hounding me and putting it in a box. Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping to do with my children. But even if my children just use their intuition for things, not to be professional medium or psychic or healer, if they can just use that intuition in their life, it makes things so much easier.
It does, because we forget sometimes. I know I do it, and we sit there and we stress over something, and then somebody will ask me a question, and I'll give them what I'm getting, and I'd be like, okay, darling, could you just listen to your own, your own advice once in a while? So it's hard when you're really good at dishing it out, but receiving it's like, oh God, let me smack myself in the head, because so the kids go. I look forward to how that works.
Yeah, and it's so true. Like, we sit down and we read and we do healings and we read for people and help them, and then all of a sudden you get this little slap at the back of the head from spirit going, and are you listening? And you just go, oh yeah, okay.
No, that's what I like to get, because Mama. I'm putting the links to your Jordie Jane's Psychic Medium on Facebook in the chat room, and your website is www.jordie, JanesJanes.com.au. That's your website. The reason I read it out loud is because the chat is not recorded, so anybody who's listening there still gets to go and see you. But people check her out. She does Facebook Lives every so often, and you did a Facebook Live the other day that knocked a friend of mine on her butt You were so spot on.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God, yeah. So she couldn't get into the chat room. She couldn't comment in the chat room. So she's messaging my Facebook. And, tell her she did. Tell her. It's like, okay. Yes.
And it was so interesting because as soon as I said her name, all of a sudden something just, I feel like one of her loved ones came and just went bang, and I went, oh, okay, and I got the chills, I got this, and I just went, no, that's it, I've just got to bang, 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 and it was, and when you said that, I was like, oh, wow, you can't make, and this is the thing about our bit of the way we work, is that you just can't make that stuff up, you just, where for me, it's a wonder for me. Where does it come from? How do we work and connect with it? So it's quite interesting because the way I talk about my gifts, my clairs, I call them muscles.
Yeah.
Because they're basically, if you don't use a muscle, how is it supposed to work for you? So especially with my students, I say, look, you've got to use it as a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. So it's quite an interesting thing when I sort of work with all of them. And I praise my teachers and my mentors over the last 6 years because they're the ones that really pushed me to really connect with those muscles and bring them through. So I try and use all of my clairs as much as I can in readings, but there's some stuff that comes through and it freaks me out just to, and when the beautiful client sort of connects with it, you just go, oh, okay, you've just freaked the medium out. So, and the day I lose that is the day that I stop for a little while. So, yeah.
Well, I think what's funny is that even as a medium, you know, the woman that you read for, she's a medium. And
yes.
You know, we can read for other people. You know, we can draw cards, we can do connections. But when it comes to ourselves, it's so hard. I mean, we know in our brain, it's like, okay, yes, this is happening, this is that, you know, I'm listening. But when it comes from somebody else who doesn't know you at all, and it's like a major confirmation of everything you know, but you're just kind of going, well, you know, is it live or is it member X? I'm really not sure. You know?
Exactly.
Fun. I love this. I love this community. Okay, and the thing is, we all just have to just sort of like step back. Like when I first started allowing spirit to come through, I would get, and I still get some shivers on one side of me, and I'd be like, is that just me, or is that my mind making me shake? You know, it's like, so I still question it. And I think in some respects, a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people, and it's a conversation a friend and I had the other day, is like, if there's nothing wrong with questioning, you know, because everyone goes, oh no, you have to believe in it. If you don't believe in it, then it's, you know, it's like the law of attraction. If you have to put it out there, it's going to happen. But you're allowed to question it, but just don't over-question it. You know, it's like I said, it's a shiver. You know, for where I work, I have a customer who'll come in, and they'll be talking, and all of a sudden I'll get like a shiver going, okay, yeah, but this is not the time or place, so let's do this later type of thing. But we just have to accept it. But yeah, like I said, my friend in the chat room the other day on your Facebook Live was like, she's like, oh my God. So don't be surprised if she gets a hold of you, because she also has a radio show. So don't be surprised if she gets a hold of you to come on.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah. Oh, you know what? It's really interesting because when I said to my husband about being on a radio show today with a beautiful lady from Canada, he just went, really? And I went, yep. I said, so is that just giving you an extra proof that we are going to go over there for a holiday? And he just looked at me and went, we're going over. So,
where you want to go in Canada. That's pretty, like Australia, people go, I'm going to Canada, but there's like 10 provinces. Australia, you just think, oh my God, places are huge. So like if you have a choice of where you're going to go, let me know, and if I have anybody in the area, I'll just like kind of sort of connect you up, because Canada's pretty big, but I got a lot of friends in different places. So.
Yeah, and it's cool because Yeah, I've got a beautiful friend down in, I think she's in Park Orchard, or it's just below Seattle. So it's not that far, so I can easily go to see her and then go up to Canada. But I know 2020 is going to be a big year for me for travel, because I want to go over to London for the Finley College, which is like our Hogwarts. Yeah.
I know it. I had Paul Jacobs on a few weeks back. He is over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know of Artisan College. I had a couple of their students on as well. It's a great place. Everything I hear about it is an amazing place. So yeah, that's going to be fun for you. But you're the second person who said that one of the things they really want to do is travel. I think that's something we all get to want to do. But can we link it with your abilities? A friend of mine, she lives in New Zealand, and she like everybody else, we connect with different people on Facebook, and she connected with a lady in Hawaii, and in the end, the woman in Hawaii booked different shows for her, so all she had to do was pay her flight over, and they had plays for her, they had shows for her, they had booking for her, and she was working the whole 2 weeks that she was there. She had some fun time there, but she was able to do what we do, do that magic that she does. So it gives her the chance to travel, and that's one thing that's fun about what I think about we can travel and we can still be who we are, but you can still have fun.
Yes, and that's the thing. It's like I can actually use it as a working holiday, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So and it's such a beautiful thing, because I don't travel far at the moment because I used to work full time. So that's the other story this year. It was quite an interesting year for me, being the master number and all of this year. In March, I actually was made redundant.
Oh.
So now, like Spirit, the way it works, it's for me, in the last 3 years, they have some tutors from ASD come out. So Tony Stockwell, Lynn Probert, Natalie Walker, and they also have an Australian tutor as well that they bring in. And they have a week up in the beautiful mountains like the Dandenongs, we call them the Dandenongs. Beautiful rainforesty type, sort of what we call bush, but forest. Beautiful place. It's a convention centre. So you spend a whole week with these tutors because they bring them out from the UK, which is awesome. And I've been doing it. This is the 3rd year I've done it this year, and every year after I do it, something happens. So I go, okay, so you spent time with us. Now we're going to push where you want to be and what you want to do. So it was interesting. The first year I did a lot more work on myself, a lot more work in classes and things like that to build up my muscles. Last year I did forensic mediumship, which was quite interesting. And I ended up getting a couple of cases, which was pretty cool after I did that week, because I was like, okay, I feel like I'm ready, you can bring it to me. So these people just came out of the blue, which was quite interesting. And in this year, I spent, because what they do is they do 5 days of just normal having a tutor, and then their Saturday and Sunday, they're 2 days for platform work, so demonstration work with Tony and Lynn, so you can choose which tutor you want to use, or not use, but sit with. Yeah. And so I did the 7 days this year, and I thought, okay, this is cool. I really enjoyed it. It really pushed me out of my comfort zone. Tony Stockwell's amazing as a tutor. He's so quirky but fun, and really sort of he questions as well, which is awesome. Yeah. And I was back at my normal full-time work for a week. And then the Monday after that week, the next Monday, I walked in and sat down with my manager and they go, oh, the upstairs want to see you. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And I sort of had a rough idea what was going on because there was a few changes going on, but I didn't expect the redundancy. So I sat down and they said, look, I had to do a few changes and a few movements and we'd like to offer you redundancy. And I just went, I've only been here 3.5 years. Not even 3.5 years. Yeah. Oh no, 3.5 years I was there. And I said, but like the work was still there, like there was heaps of work, but it just wasn't there. So I'm like, okay, well that's fine. That's okay, because I had this to go into. Yeah. And it was like Spirit just gave me a push off the cliff rather than me taking the leap of faith. Yeah. But instead of on my own accord, because Spirit goes, we're not going to push her off the cliff. No, I don't think she's going to take the leap. So they pushed me off the cliff with a cushion, which was awesome. So I could build up my business and build up my readings and times and everything like that. So, and that's what happened with me this year. So now this is my life. This is my work. This is I still pinch myself because I always ask Spirit, why did you choose me?
I know. And
it's crazy.
Yeah, because especially if you're going to sit there and actually seriously wait for them to answer, because they're kind of like, you know, like, duh, what do you mean, why did we choose you? It's a question that you should also know the answer to, because that's what, you know, we chose you, and it's like, you still want to get that confirmation, which is fun though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun, but I still said they were actually sitting laughing when I got the redundancy, because my beautiful guys, because they were like, well, if you're not ready, we're just going to push you, and you're not gonna drown. It's all going to be okay. But that was a real lesson for me, because you tell people that taking a leap of faith is a very important step for you, for your growth, and my students, but I wasn't doing it myself. So that's when Spirit goes, you need to do this. And it was quite interesting, because after I got redundancy, 2 days later in my head, I hear, you need to get a passport. And I'm like, because I've never been out of Australia, so I've never had a passport. 46 years of age, never had a passport. So Spirit goes, oh, you need a passport. And I'm like, no, I don't. I can't even afford to, like, this. I can't do that. And then 3 days later, someone in the physical said to me, you might have to get a passport soon. I'm like, oh my God. I went, all right, you know how you put your forehead in your palm. So, and then I think it was about a week later, I get a phone call, do you want to teach on a cruise? And I just went, yeah. So all these things about passport was quite funny.
Yeah. We don't, if you sat there and questioned as to why, and just sort of, you know, okay, let's just get it done. I'm listening, I'm going to do it, because you know eventually something's going to happen. But the point was, the first time it happened, you were like, oh, okay, whatever. And then somebody else did it to you. And did you get the passport before you got the call about the cruise?
I still haven't got my passport yet.
Go get your passport.
Yes. And this is for me as well, because it's quite funny with my intuition. I go, I know once I get my passport, I know travel is going to be huge. Like, travel for me is going to be huge. Mm-hmm. So I'm sort of putting it, I'm sort of like just putting it on the back. But I know it's coming.
You sit there and say, okay, travel's going to be huge. Make sure I can bring my husband along. Because they'll be like, Tracy in the chat room says, get on it, Jordie.
Yeah, I know, I just saw that. I said, don't worry, I will be. My husband's actually coming. We've actually organised at the cruise. next year is going to be, because our anniversary is tomorrow, our 20-year anniversary is tomorrow. That's going to be our anniversary present next year. So yeah, which is cool. So, and then my mum's going to be there because she wants to push herself a little bit more because she's been out of it a little bit. She's a Reiki master and she does intuitive jewelry as well. And yeah, so she wants to push herself a little bit more as well. So I'm like, awesome. And then I've actually got students going as well. So it's going to be fun. There's 5 of us teaching, and 3 of them are master teachers through Lisa Williams' school. So yeah. Oh, thank you, Tracy.
Happy anniversary. Now you said your mom's a jewelry maker. Does she have a book or a website that we can advertise?
Yeah, it's actually called Jewels by Jules. So it's JEWELS by Jules, G-U, sorry, J. What am I saying? J. What am I saying G for? That's a bit crazy. So JEWELS by JULES, if I remember correctly. She's going to shoot me if she's listening right now. But yes, so let me just have a quick look to make sure.
Jules hyphen by.
Healing, sorry, Healing. It's Healing Jewels by Jules on Facebook. So I might actually, Healing Jewels by Jules. So yeah, so she just intuitively gets the crystals and just makes up the bracelet.
Nice.
So yeah, I can put the link up. Yeah, I'll put the link up as well later.
Yep. I can find it now. There we go. Here we go. Local business. There we go. Oh, and she's got a butterfly on the picture.
Yeah, she's based in Werribee, Victoria, so.
Well, I found one. I will check it out, and if it's this one, because there's 2 of them.
Oh no, this is the one with the. She's got the palm leaf with a butterfly.
Okay, so then I got the right one. Okay. Of course.
Yeah, and the Buddha. You see the Buddha with the necklace, the bracelets in front of it.
Go. All right, so the link is in the chat room. Susan by Jules, and you know, Christmas is coming up. You never know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Canada Post is on their rotating strike, so but we will.
Oh no.
It's okay. No, yeah, that's nice. But eventually we'll get, you know, stuff back together. But okay, it's Facebook Healing-Jules by Jules, JEWELS is the first one, Jules, and the second Jules is JULES. Yeah, so it's in the chat room, but people check it out. Yeah, I like the idea that we can help each other by possibly buying, you know, not just from big stores, but from individuals whose heart is in their work and their.
Exactly. Okay. So I've got a couple of her beautiful bracelets. She's made me some gorgeous necklaces as well. So yeah, she's quite. I love my mum. She plays it down, but it's really it is the Scottish heritage that we have. So yeah, she's pretty cool. She's fun.
Yeah.
I love
mom. Because I'm looking. I said it's not just because it's our mom either that we're totally pumped at it, but I know. But yes, so that'll be interesting. So everybody go check her out. Like her page and follow and behave and tell her that and see new activity on her pages because we're stalking her. No.
I will let her know.
So, and there's a whole bunch of people. She just okay. Okay, so you do one-on-one readings and you do platform readings. If you had to choose to do one or the other, which would you rather do? I know there's a difference between the two, but the first one that you'd love to do. Platform or one?
Okay, so if you spoke to me about 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, I would have gone platform.
Okay.
Because for me, platform, it was like, I want to say, when you're on platform, there's no pressure, because the pressure is there to more perform and more entertain. That's the pressure that I would look at it. Whereas when I'm in platform, I've got someone standing next to me, but I know that person is going to be for someone it's not going to be someone that doesn't know who they are, because there's going to be 50, 60, I've only gone up to 50 people in a room at the moment, but you know that you're going to deliver the messages because that person's there for that person. For some reason, I just felt more comfortable being on platform than a one-on-one, because you've got a pressure of someone sitting in front of you and you're connecting with a loved one that they may not be aware of or they may not know a lot about. Yeah. And so for me, the pressure was more in a one-on-one. But now I sort of look at it and go, I love both, but I really love platform. I still love it. I still love platform. I still love getting the messages out there to people. It's like, kind of say, yeah. But then again, I used to be on stage when I was younger, so stage was always something in me, but not a major thing, if that makes sense. So yeah, I love both now. Both are really, for me, both really important. But yeah, if you spoke to me 2.5, nearly 3 years ago, platform would have been my go-to.
And now you're willing to do it. I asked the guest last week this. Have you ever had, now you use all your clairs, so have you ever had somebody who comes to you, say like, in the morning, you know you have a platform event to do in the evening, but you've got people coming around you during the day going, me, and you're like, well, breathe, but you don't realize who they are until, you know that it's for somebody, but until you get to the event. And then it's like, okay, so this is where you fit, Have you ever had somebody who's been so insistent that they sort of hung around you all day until you got to your event?
Yes and no. I've had some that like to hang around and show me things throughout the day, because it sort of you sort of go, so that's the reason why so he's been around me most of the day. So there's things like that. I don't really feel like they're around me to a point until I actually really sort of get there and I go, okay. So then I feel the lineup of the beautiful souls connecting with me and things like that. So that's quite an interesting thing for me too, because if I look back at it, I've blocked this out for quite a number of years. So for me to block out things is quite easy. For me to connect, sometimes it can be hard, but now I'm working in this environment, my messages are clearer, my connections are stronger, and I do feel like, I do feel like they're around me, but I don't really hone into them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It's like...
But there is some persistent ones, especially just before, and you just go, can you wait?
Can you wait till I get on stage?
I remember doing a group booking, And actually, that does remind me, I was doing a group booking, and I had I normally do group bookings where I normally do 45 minutes and have a 15-minute break and another 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And so in this 15-minute break, I thought I decided to go to the ladies. And as I went to the ladies, I had this beautiful Scottish man standing in front of me with this beautiful kilt, and I'm like, can I have like 5 minutes? And it was so, like, he was so there, like, pretty much because I don't really see people like we see people.
Mm-hmm.
But I was literally sitting down and I went, oh my gosh, can you just wait? Because I was in it was so funny. It was hilarious. And then when I walked out and started, I went, got a question. And then I just started rolling with him, and someone goes, yeah, that's my grandfather. And I just went, oh, and the kilt is this colour, this colour, this colour. And she sent me a photo later, or she actually told me later on that what I described as in the kilt, the colours and the way the tartan was. She goes, that's spot on. And I went, well, he didn't, would it make sense that he had no idea of personal space? And she goes, yeah, that would be him. And I was like, oh my God, it was crazy.
Yeah, I think I have been lucky that I don't have that. I haven't stretched those muscles yet that I get spirit coming to me. But I have a friend who, when he very first met his guide, he was in the bathroom taking a shower, and on the other side of the shower curtain was this deep male voice. And I'd be like, so far I'm just getting shivers. Yeah, I'd just seen a man in a kilt in the bathroom with me, or hearing the male voice in the bathroom. Can we, like, not do the bathroom thing, guys? It's enough when the cats and the dogs come in.
It's true, though. It's like, can I just have a little bit of space? Like, I remember, and it's funny, I know that you can put down as a personal space, and sometimes they just go, yeah, nah. I went to a friend of mine used to own an old pub in one of the country towns just up the road from me. They were licensees of this old pub, and this old pub was like I think it was built in 1890 or 1890 or late 1899 or something. Anyway, so I walked in and I went, oh look, can I just go to the bathroom? So I went to the ladies, and no joke, this lady of the house came in, and I mean, it's not a very big cubicle.
Okay. Came
in and said, hello, how you going? I went, can you give me 5? And then I'll come out. So she was definitely no personal space. And she was so excited to see me. She was absolutely gorgeous, and she was beautiful period costume. I call it costume, but it was actually just what she was wearing. And I sort of started talking to my friend as I came out, and then all of a sudden I went, do you mind if I go upstairs? So I walked up the stairs, and I just went a beeline down the hallway to this room, and I went, is this room got some things going on in it? And she goes, it's funny you came straight down here. And I went, why? She goes, this is the lady of the house. This is the lady that everyone sees. And I went, well, I've never been there before. And I said, well, she's here with me now. And she basically was showing me the window and how she used to look over at because it was a gold mining town.
Okay.
So she was looking out the window and looking at the mines, like the gold diggings and everything like that. So that was quite interesting as well. So yeah, sometimes they don't have personal space.
Okay. Note, spirit does not always pay attention to personal space.
And it was fun. I love doing like haunted places and sitting down and just watching and seeing the movement. Because for me, anything on the physical with spirit just really cements things with me.
Okay.
To know that it is real.
Yeah. Well, it's like you said, you question everything, and to have the actual physical, let's say, evidence, it just makes it much more. So, yeah. Have you ever done paranormal investigation?
Yes. I did my first one this year. Oh, my God. It was so much fun. It was an old... we used to have in Australia, I don't know if you guys used to have these. Oh, I'd say yes, you would have. Of course you would have. But we have a company that's very well known over here called Cobb & Co, which was an old coach. There used to be coach routes throughout rural Victoria and Australia, basically. With the coaches, and there used to be Cobb & Co. And this particular place that we did the paranormal investigation at was an old inn, so Cobb & Co. coach sort of station / inn pub, and and it's very well known for being haunted because there's a lot of things that happen. So. In the stables and outside. So we organised a group of friends and my students, and we went and had lots of fun, and a friend of mine had her camera system set up, and we got a lot of orbs and feelings and connecting. It was lots of fun, but it's interesting that I caught a few, but they kept playing with our phones.
Okay.
Like, we were trying to take information, like taking photos and putting our flashes on to look around and video, but our flashes wouldn't work.
Okay.
And then we'd move and we'd go into a different place, and all of a sudden the flashes would work again. So they were mucking around with our equipment, which was good. It just gives you a sense of connecting. But yeah, I love it. I love paranormal stuff. It just for me, it just makes it real to know that they are around us. And unfortunately, there's some that have come to untimely death or not very nice ways of passing. But the energy or the essence is still there. They may not be still there, but the essence is there. So the what would you call the imprint? The energy imprint is still there.
Yeah.
Especially if it's traumatic. So there was some traumatic things that happened at this place, but and I just love it. I could go on forever for it. And where I live, just up the road, there's an old settlement. They call it's Kilmore, and I used to do platform events at the old town hall, and I used to connect with some of the spirits that were actually still in the town hall, which was lots of fun. So some of the old politicians that were there, and so it was interesting.
Are politicians as Gabby in when they pass over as when they were here on Earth?
Pardon? This particular one that I was connecting with, he was very diplomatic. He was very nice. I want to say he was there for the people. He was quite an interesting character. But he showed me where he lived. He told me how many children he had, and I got his name. And I knew nothing about the place at all, because I've only just moved up to this particular part of Victoria, and I grabbed his name, and the lady who was running the restaurant at the time goes, "Oh yeah, that's this," and I just went, "Oh my God, it is him," because the room that I connected with him was one of the restaurant rooms that they used for the restaurant. And I literally went, and this is where his desk was, and he used to live up on the hill because there was hills behind the town.
Okay.
So it was very interesting because we looked it all up, and it all was right, and I was like, oh, okay. So that sort of freaks me out. I'm like, yeah. So when the medium gets freaked out, I really just go, I just want more. It's like a kid in a candy store.
It is. I think that's what makes it so interesting for us. Just a quick one. Everybody from hi, welcome to everybody who's there.
Hi everyone, I can see people there.
If you have a question for Jordie, type it into the chat room and I'll ask her. She'll see it, but I'll read it out loud so that the whole world can hear what you have to say. But yeah, it's fun that we can still be, not surprised, but surprised that it's still, you said it's a kid in the candy store, that we can still have as much fun as anybody else. And it's like, for you've been doing this for a few years more than me, but I haven't been around longer than you. but but it's fun that it's still fun, and it's still it's always like you can always eat the same candy, right? But this is like sticking your hand in a bag of candy, getting a different flavor every time. And even when you had this flavor last week, it's still different because it's you weren't expecting it. So it's I think the work that we do is like different flavored candy.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really interesting because with the way my guides work with me and the way I set my intent for my readings, I have certain ways of seeing who transitioned first, how many, like all this sort of stuff. So I have like triggers and things. And I did, we have an expo over here called My Body and Spirit. And they have a psychic room. So I was in the psychic room for 3 days. So we basically, like for me, it's a marathon. Oh, yes. Oh, I just saw Tracy's comment. That's really funny. Yeah, it's true. It's so true because you just want more. It's handy. You just want more. So yeah, so basically I was connecting and I had all my sets of who passed first and everything, and then my guides just go, we're going to change this up a bit. We're going to make sure that the way they stand is. So I literally went through 3 different readings and it was all the same. For example, the grandmother passed before the grandfather, and the way they were standing was my old way. And I went, did your grandfather pass before your grandmother? No, my grandmother did. I went, okay. By the third time, I finally got it. I went, okay, so let's just, this is how we're going to work now. This is okay.
That room, Eric Green says, when you lose the awe and the wonder at communication from spirit in all its forms, then it's time to step back and slap yourself sensible. Thank you, Eric.
Eric, it is so true. And that's what I don't know if you heard earlier, that's what I said before, is the day that I lose, or the day that I don't get freaked out, or the day that I just feel like, I know this stuff, I will step back. It'll be time for me to go, I think I need a break, because unless I have that, that means you're just too comfortable. And I don't like comfortable.
Yeah. And I think also spirit as well, sort of in some respects, forces us to take breaks. I know I had taken a break a while back, even though the person, the physical being kind of went, no, I'm good, but spirit's like, no way, So we have to sit there and listen. Because when things disappear for there's always a reason behind, either it's like if somebody passed in the morning and the spirit says, you need a break, you have to accept the things that go on in our lives. And that's the thing, some people don't realize is that we still have lives, we're not 24/7 doing spirit work, connecting with spirit, because as Eric Bloom will say, if you're connected 24/7 with spirit, you're lying in the loony bin. That's probably not the word he's going to use, but
and that's true. You have to have the balance. If you don't have the balance, then how can you be that healer, that guide, that connection for that loved one that's sitting in front of you? So that's where I sit. If I can't, especially if there's something happened in the family and I've got clients or I've got something that's come up, I know I will not be 100% for that client. I will reschedule.
Yeah, exactly. And it amazes me because a friend of mine on Facebook, Eric was told tonight in a reading, I'm on a spiritual siesta. And she really said that. I like that one, spiritual siesta.
I like that. I'm going to use that. That's cool. I love it.
And this is something. But our clients, and I can't think of another word, there was a woman, she was going through a lot of stuff, and she had to pull back for her own sanity, for her own, her own human self needed to step back because she wasn't getting it. She knew she wasn't, doing the good job that she normally does. So she had to step back, and she let everybody know. And people were actually upset with her. And I'm like, excuse me, first and foremost, we're humans. So when life happens, we have to accept life. Spirit cannot negate everything else that we do. Yeah, just because you want a reading or you want a healing or you want a whatever the case may be, you got to remember that the person that you're speaking with is human too. And some people forget that mediums are people too.
Yeah, exactly. We've got to have the human experience.
Exactly.
Because if we don't have the human experience, how are we going to help? If we haven't gone through that experience, and that's not to say that we have to go through that experience for that someone to come to you. Mm-hmm. It's more of a case of knowing the wisdom, and for me, understanding that you've got someone's life in your hands or someone's mental strength in your hands, and we may not have the diplomas in cancelling, but we do have an energetic sort of cancelling with us. Yeah. And this is as much as I love having the scientific side of things, and I wish they would do more with it for us, to know that we are there on an energetic level, not just on a physical level, but on an energetic level. That if we're not energetically right, how can we help someone? How can we heal someone?
Exactly. Yeah. And people have to realize that, like you said, healers are people too. And I use the term healers, and that encompasses mediums, psychics, and because I think my way of thinking is that we're all healing some part of, whether it's mind, spirit, body, soul. We always have healing somehow, some way. So I just sort of cover it instead of saying, well, this one's a psychic and this one's a medium, and this, we're all healers. Mm-hmm. We just use different ways of healing. So for healers, we forget that others forget, but we forget. We got to make sure that we're fine too. You don't see but you can't see a surgeon going into surgery. Okay, let's go this way. It just doesn't cut it. It just isn't going to work. So how is somebody who's going to give you messages that have a chance if they're not spiritually, energetically in the right spot? Because
exactly. Yeah, because I remember when my mum's dad, my grandfather, he technically was the real. I would say I've always been doing this, but not really as a professional. Mm-hmm. And he was one of the major ones that transitioned because I've been doing this professionally. He was one of the ones that passed transition away doing this, and I had to take a couple of weeks off because you've got to deal with the grief, you've got to deal with family, you've got to deal with so many other things. And I don't think sometimes people think that we can be like a Superman and that we can just trudge through it and be there for everyone, but if we're not. And that's really interesting because I say that because I know there's a couple of readings I've had. We have themes. I don't know if you noticed, but when we do readings or healings, we have themes of people coming in. Mm-hmm. And my theme for the last couple of weeks was you're always giving and you're never receiving. Now, for us being healers, we give, but we don't receive sometimes, and that's when we can burn out. If we don't receive, if we don't do the healings on ourselves, if we don't take the time to grieve, time to heal, time to refocus, how are we going to be that person to that person sits in front of us?
Very true.
So,
Point
but yeah.
Messages.
Oh, that's all. I like him. I like him. He's fun.
Yes.
It's cool.
He's a hero of many, in many ways as well.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much everybody in the chat room is a connection to spirit in one form or another, even if they don't really think it. Yeah. Now, on Facebook, you don't always do. You know, you draw cards, and you had last week. You had the most beautiful deck of cards. That oh my goodness, I can't remember the name of it. It was I think it was something to do with witches, with Wicca.
Oh, the Blessed Bee card.
Ever so beautiful. Do you have? I have a feeling I'm going to get a positive on this one. Do you have an affinity for decks as well?
Oh my God, yes. Oh, and as I said, I was at Mind, Body and Spirit the weekend before last, and it was quite interesting. I'm like, I need to pay for the cruise, and I need to pay for this, I need to pay for that. And I'm like, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm not going to buy anything. I'm not. Okay, it's fine. I'm not. So what does she do on the last day? Buy 3 decks of cards.
There you go. So the only way to stop myself from buying things is leaving my wallet at home. Because otherwise I go somewhere and I know I'm going to somewhere that's got crystals or cards. If I don't, I'll leave my wallet at home and I'll just bring like $20 with me. Just so that it's okay. That's all you're allowed to spend. If it doesn't fit into the $20, you're not buying anything.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. So I bought the Blessed Bee by Lisa Cavendish. What is your colour, I think? And I can't remember the other.
I think it was the What is
the other deck.
Was the same as the one I got for my birthday. I got Lovely Energy Oracle cards by Sandra and Taylor. Absolutely gorgeous. But your Blessed Bee cards were amazing. I mean, you show them and I'm sitting there going, I need to get them.
Yeah. They are. Lucy Cavendish is an Australian author. I don't know if you guys know of her. She's actually she's a practicing witch as well. So I always get drawn to, because I love the witchy side of things. I'm actually, it's interesting. I sort of say this, and I always sort of follow what people say, but I actually working on getting some witchcraft with me. I'm a bit of a pagan. I love my earthy sort of medicines and things like that. But I'm always drawn to these beautiful people that do these gorgeous decks. And yeah, so she's a practicing witch over in Australia. Same as Stacey DeMarco, which I've got her Queen of the Moon Oracle cards as well. They've just come out and they're stunning as well. So.
I know, isn't it ridiculous when people come out with amazing cards? We can't get every deck we want. But yeah, I think things happen, things and people happen for a reason. As I said, for some reason, Australia and New Zealand has been focusing into my circle lately. And it's I've got you, I've got a couple others that I'm talking to. I had Scott Collins, who's a medical medium. He was on a while back. So I'm going through. So as he was saying names, I'm thinking, no.
Yeah. And there's another one that sorry, Eric's just got a question there.
Yeah, okay. Eric's question is, when working with MBS bears, do you spend as much time learning about other ways of working and doing the readings? That's why I never do fairs anymore.
It's interesting because for me, I'm always busy with my fairs and my expos, so I don't really get a chance to sit and talk with people. I learn with spirit more. It's interesting. I learn the way I work, the way I do my readings change. Because for me, as much as I'm there with these beautiful people that I'm networking with and I sit with and my friends, it helps me hone in my skills with those fairs. So, yeah. But yeah, it's true. Like, you can pick up on other people's stuff. So,
Larry in the chat room. I'm going to answer that question. Larry in the chat room said, I've heard that there are 3 types of witches, the white, the black, and the gray. Is this true?
I would say yes. It's interesting because there's white witches, black witches. It all depends on which sort of coin I would put the phrase in. Grey for me is more of the wisdom. So they're like the Gandalf and the Merlins. So they're the old wise ones. So the black, it's for me, it's a toss of the coin. But we've got to work with shadow as well as light. I'm one of those people that have both. I work with both because we, as humans, we have both shadow and we also have light. So we've got to work with that way. But we try. I put myself as an earth-based pagan witch. That's where I see myself. So I would say yes. I haven't heard anything different, but yes, there's definitely the people who work in balance and some people that don't work in balance.
I think that probably the 3 types of witches are, yes. Now, I don't know a lot about Wicca and witches, just sort of going with what feels right to me. I would say yes, white, black, and gray, but in each section there are different, you can't say shades, but yeah, different shades as well and different ways of working. It's like it's like healers. It's like Reiki. There is different kinds of Reiki. There's fire Reiki, there's American Reiki. So we're all different. We're the same, but it's, witches, but there's different ways. Reiki masters, Reiki, there's different levels, there's different things, but it's still, the basics. But I like the way that you put the gray is the Gandalf of the witches. They're the ones that are just smart. I know a couple of them.
It's that for me. That's where I felt like, for me, to my understanding, my knowledge, that's where I would put them, because they're the ones that have. That for me, that would be balance.
Okay.
Because they're the ones that have both the white. So if you put white and black together, you've got the grey. So it makes perfect sense. That's the wisdom. Yeah. They're the crones of the 3, and they're just the wise women, the wise men. So.
Eric in the chat room says he did a fair once and he was doing readings next to a Reiki mass. Every time they rang the bamboo bell, they opened up the vortex to the higher side and spirits popped through. It was really difficult to concentrate.
And that's the thing too with fairs and expos. If you're not properly putting your boundaries up with the person that's sitting next to you, it can affect you. It can give you wrong readings. You can connect with the person that's sitting with the other person next to you. But I've been trained by beautiful mentors that really made sure that I set up right, because they've been doing expos for quite some time and put my boundaries up. I still remember my first ever expo. I came home and literally couldn't remember driving home, because I'd been so busy that I didn't realise, and my third eye was just going a little bit haywire. And I went to class the next week, and my mentor goes, my circle I used to go to once a week, and he goes, "Did you ground yourself?" And I went, "No."
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a rookie error there.
Eric said that's when he understood that everybody works for spirit in different forms. But yeah, that's one of the things is that I agree, Larry. I like that interpretation. So, we there are so many people out there that want to learn, and so many people out there that are willing to teach. Is not really, like I know. Some people say, I can't be a teacher because as far as they're concerned, teachers should know the answers before they start teaching. And it's, I understand that, but we forget that sometimes you just need to start at the basics. And that's what I try and do with this show is like, there are people out there that I could have, in my mind, I could have people who could talk, technicalities of how things are done or whatever, but I want basics because I want people to understand it. Like you just said, you did your first stair and you forgot the ground. Like you said, but even as I do it every day. Before I leave my house, before I get into my job, I ground myself, I protect myself. But there are days when I forget to do it because I'm in a rush and something's happening and. But these are things that most everybody needs to understand. That there are, it's like baking a cake. You got to get all your ingredients out first. You can't go, okay, I'll take the flour and then, oops, forgot the sugar. You got to run back. You sort of got to get the basics down before you can jump in with 2 feet. And we do forget. There's not everybody is like, I'm sorry, I don't have a checklist. Even though I think I should have a checklist. Written checklist. Okay, did you do that? Yep. Because we forget, because we're so excited. Things that want to, things want to go. You want things to go so well. I do it often for this show. Very often. I'll have a list of questions that I have. And I never actually follow any kind of normal pattern, kind of special that way. That I'll have a list of questions. And if I'm really kind of sort of organized, by the time I sit down with the show, I forget the list. The list is gone lost somewhere. And it's kind of like spiritually saying, that's not the way you're supposed to do things. You just got to fly by the seat of your pants.
Oh, so you're the same like me then. I'm like that as well. It's like, especially because and it's interesting you say being a teacher. Because for me, I only really stepped out doing, teaching. I actually say mentoring, because technically we're spirit's physical mentor. We're not a person that knows all the ins and outs of things. It all comes through spirit, and that's why I always tell my students, I may be here at a physical level giving you the prompts, but you've got to ask Spirit. Spirit's the one that's going to teach you more. Spirit's the one that's going to be here. I'm not going to be your only mentor. My biggest thing is I'm not the only mentor. Because if you only have one mentor, then you get stuck in your ways and it just doesn't work. You've got to have different mentors. I know I have, and that's why I've learned so much to a point. But now when I actually stopped doing class, it was like Spirit going, right, you're ready now. You've got all your tools that you need to connect with us. Now it's your turn to connect with us to learn. And I was like, it makes sense. So as much as I hear this, teachers teach this because they can't do it. It's not that at all for me. I really don't like that saying. It's more of a case of we're the ones that help people connect, and it's like I want to say, there's knowledge there, you just got to open the doors. And if I'm one of those mentors that opens that door for that person to take that path, whichever way they go, I'm not forcing them to be a psychic medium, whatever. I'm very, very vocal with this because There is so many people out there that go, this is my way or the highway. You cannot have another mentor. It's not right. You can't. You've got to have Spirit's your biggest mentor. And if once you connect with them, then the world's your oyster. You can do whatever you want. So
yeah, I think that, but that's also what makes us. You know, it's like when we go to school, we have different teachers for different subjects. It's not just one teacher, teaching you math and French and French here, but and science and history. There's different teachers there's different mentors for everything in our life, for every step, every stage in our life. Eric in the chat room says Nellie has 2 rules. Nellie was his grandma, an amazing psychic medium in her own right over in the UK. She says, number 1, spirits are the stars and they do the work. You're just a mouthpiece. Number 2, if you think you're getting good rule number 1.
Oh, that's perfect. I love that. I'm going to take a photo of that, actually. That is so true.
Yeah.
Oh, that's giving me goosebumps. Love it. Love it. Love it. Because we are. That's the thing. We're the physical.
We're the telephone.
Exactly.
Now, there's a person on one end of the phone, and there's a person on the other end of the phone. We are just the mouthpiece. We are just the phone. So, you can't. You can't take, you can't take, I can't think of the word, where'd the brain part go? It's not you who's doing it. You're just like there. It's like exactly. when I do Reiki, it just comes through. It's not me. It's not my energy. It's there. And Larry says, thank you. He doesn't like that comment about the teachers as well. The teachers that teach. Teachers only teach because they cannot do. Because Larry was a teacher. And still is a teacher in many respects. But he was a music teacher. So.
Yeah. I feel like teachers, mentors, they're the ones that actually show the way. Then it's like I want to say they turn the light on, and then you just got to walk the path.
Yep. It shows you the door, shows you the here's the door. There's in the deck of cards that I just got, there's a deck and it's got multiple doorways. Well, a good teacher, a good mentor shows you the different doorways. You have to choose which one you want to take.
Exactly.
So
and see, I've been doing class on a Saturday morning, and I've had these students for just over a year, actually over 18 months, and they've all got their own paths, their own journeys, and just to see them flourish, that's what I just it tears me up. And I think I did a live feed about it one day because when my classes fit, I always do 2 cards on each chair, so it gives them a little bit of sense of what's going to come up this week and all that sort of stuff and what they've been through. And I did 3 cards one day, and there was one that was shadow, one was light, and in the middle was compass. And I was like, oh wow, we've got to be the compass for our own life. We can have the shadow, we can have the light, but we've also got to have the balance of the 2. Yeah. So, yeah.
People can only show us what they get. Like for me, when my regular day job, when I'm training new staff, I'll say, this is the way I do it. I'm giving you the base. I'm giving you the foundation. How you do it when you come on as doing it full time by yourself, it's your choice. I may do it. You've got 5 steps to do. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but you could go 1, 4, 3, 2, and then 5. It doesn't matter so long as you get to where you're supposed to be in the end. And everybody gets where they're going in the end. It depends on which path you take, whether the rough road, the rocky road, go by the water, whichever. It doesn't matter. And it's fun to have somebody who's able to show you, like, here's the way to do that, or you can do it this way. There's no hard and fast rule to anything, except the fact that, like, rule number 1. Now there's rule number. Spirit is star. They do the work. They are, you know, Spirit is what's giving us what we get. You know, if somebody says, I don't think, now, there are many people out there that do that. I don't think that there is any one person that says, okay, I come to you and go, Jordie, I want to speak to my mom. It's like, yep, okay, I'll get your mom, no problem. We don't always get who we want. You know, it's like many people, I've never done group readings or anything, but I've seen them done, and I've heard a lot of people speak about them. It's like, you know, somebody goes to a reading and they, I want to speak to my mom so badly. I really want to speak to my mom. Well, you know, your mother-in-law comes here, it's like, oh God, I do not want to speak to her. I can't stand the woman when she's alive. I don't want to speak. But there's a reason that people come through, you know. So it's not just about, you know, it's not just about, you know, the how we're getting it. It's who we're getting it from, either the medium or the spirit that comes through. So, and I don't think anybody can say 100%, yes, Darlene, I'm going to talk to your mother for you, not a problem. Because my mother may not feel like coming through. She's like, Darlene, I'm going to speak to your father. You know, it's like, wait till your father gets home. You got it.
Yeah. And as you said that, I had a visual. It was quite funny. I had a visual. You know, when, like, for example, you ring, and it makes me laugh. If I ring my mum and dad, like I ring my mum's phone, but my dad answers, or I just ring the home phone and dad answers, oh, I'll just put you on to your mum. So it's like they handball it, and that's what spirits do. They do that as well. But you're right. I have had some people sit down, and I set the intent every time that I sit down for a reading that all the questions are answered, and whoever they want to come through to connect with, they come through. And I always have a little bit of time at the end that if that the person that they want to connect with hasn't come through, then I will try and bring them through. Not try, but ask if they want to come through. And I've had people go, oh, I don't really want to talk to her. And it doesn't matter if you don't want to talk to them. It's the message that they want to give you. It's the message. If they're here because they were a very strong woman and a person that used to stand on people's toes, then that's what you need to do in your life right now. So is there a situation, and then they go, okay. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Night, Eric.
Night, Eric.
He's in the UK, so it's like...
it's like 3 o'clock over there.
UK, it's 2 a.m., 1 a.m., sorry.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's good night, Eric.
Good night, Eric.
He gone.
Nice to meet you.
But yeah, no, I think that a lot of people forget that you know, like you said, you need to talk to, you know, it's like my children when they call home. They don't care who they want to talk to, they just want to talk to a parent. So they call the house phone. They want to specifically talk to me, they'll call me. They want to specifically talk to the dad, they'll call the house phone. Because he doesn't answer his cell phone, you know. But we don't always get to, you know, you just, you know, I'm calling the house phone and I get who I get and I ask questions and I get whatever it is I get. So it's fun that works that way.
Yeah.
Even
actually, that's really good. I really like that.
It's no matter what, we're going to get what we need. Maybe me in my head, I'm like, oh, my mother would know this. Let me call my mom. But then, like you said, Dad answers the phone and Dad's got to say, Dad, how come you're so smart? You know, I would have to make a long distance phone call to speak to both my parents. They've crossed over already. But it's you know, it's interesting that, you know, we always sit there. Like I said, my biggest thing is like, wait till your father gets home. And it's like, wait till your mother gets home. Like, no. Mother's home. I don't have no idea. Go talk to your dad. You know, so spirit is like that. You know, there's mom and then there's the dad. And sometimes the aunts come through and it doesn't, you know, it's like when I do readings, I'll tell my clients, and a lot of people, you know, when you ask them for a question, I'll tell my clients, come to me with one verbalized question. You might have 101 questions going on in your brain, but open it with just saying that one question out loud opens up the connection between your people and my people, and we get the conversation going, and the cards just tell you what is needed, not always what we want. And 9 times out of 10, the question that they've asked, first off, is the last question that's answered, because there's other things that they need to know before that. So I think it's fun that, that we still get to, Spirit still keeps us sitting on the edge of our seat. Sometimes.
Yeah, it's interesting because as much as you go, okay, if you got a question, they go, oh, no, not really. And then all of a sudden this and this comes up and you go, oh, that's right. It's like, I think I did a reading yesterday, on the weekend, and this lady sat down in front of me. It was her first ever reading. And she sat down and her father-in-law came through. But it was so poignant. She didn't want to connect with any other person, but she had no preference. Sorry.
Yeah.
But her father-in-law came through, and the message was so prevalent to her that it was just a sense of she's going okay. She's doing what she has to do.
Mm-hmm.
So. And it was not what she was expecting, but it was exactly what she needed.
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever gotten messages that just, if you put it in your Jordie Jane head, it's like, what in the heck is that? And you kind of don't want to say it because it sounds kind of weird. But then when you say it, it's like that trigger that you're the person who you're reading for or to was like, oh my God, that's so weird. But in your own human head, you're going, it cannot be about the purple rose bush. It just makes absolutely no sense. But to them, it makes sense, Have you ever had that moment during your reading where it's like,
continuously. That's the thing that makes me laugh, is the fact that I have a lot of examples, because the way I open up my readings is just say, if I ask a question, just say yes, no, I'm unsure. Mm-hmm. And I say the reason being is I use my vocabulary. So if I see, now I use examples. So I might see a glass, like a pot of beer. Mm-hmm. But the glass, I'll explain what the glass looks like. I go, did they just drink beer? And they go, no. And I'll go, okay, so I saw this glass with, it looks like it's got like little windows in it, like not a smooth glass. Mm-hmm. And I said, I saw this glass. And they go, oh, no, they used to drink coffee out of that glass. Yeah. But for me, my vocabulary was beer. Yeah. But they go, no, they used to drink coffee out of that glass. I went, So it doesn't make any sense to me, but it makes perfect sense to them. Exactly. So that's, I get him quite a bit now, and just the vocabulary, or Spirit will give me a tarot card or an oracle card, and you just go, why am I seeing this? But it's not about us. We're just the conduit. It's not about us. But yeah, I've had quite a few of those. I'm like, this might sound really silly. But yeah, and like Larry says, and sometimes your dad comes through unexpectedly. He came into the chat room late last week during the show, and the young lady I had on, I had asked her the question, have you ever had, like I asked you, people who just sort of hang around all day long, have been hanging around bugging you, and she says, no, not normally, but somebody is here right now, and it ended up being Larry's dad, and it was unexpected, because it wasn't, he wasn't even looking. But it was just a question, sort of like, I guess, flip the switch or whatever. So, but yeah, sometimes things happen when we don't expect it. So, oh yeah,
and I love that. Again, it keeps you dancing. It's like a different. Here we're going to go into music again. It's a different beat. Music has different levels of high volume, the bass and the alto and the blah 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 blah. You can tell really I'm really musically inclined on that, but it's still music, You can still either dance or not dance to it, it just might be that it's not your beat of music at that moment in time. So yeah, life is Interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, and yeah, it's true. Like especially when we were trying to connect this morning, I was like, okay, so who's dealing with my electronics at the moment? Like seriously?
Yeah.
And then when you said breathe,
yeah,
I just went, I'll breathe, and all of a sudden things just happened, and I'm like, so who is this? But it was funny because it's just it was my computer was running slow. And yeah, it was quite funny, but yeah, but that's what happens. You just have to go with the flow.
Yeah, what's one thing about my show? When I first started doing radio, it was on another station, and my very first show, I was nervous, but at the time I was working with a producer, and he was like, "Don't worry, I got it all in good control. All you gotta do is talk." You know, and my guest was a very dear friend of mine. And we were talking about fairies, and I'm like, okay, yeah, these are all good things. And then all of a sudden, the chat room crashed. And I found out that my daughter and her best friend, who I call them both my daughters, were in the chat room with their Apple iPhone thingamajiggies, and they put in an emoticon that crashed the chat room. And my producer was like, not a problem. I got it handled. I think he fixed it. It came back up, but not quickly. But when I figured it out later, it was my daughter's laughing. He says, "It's okay." He says, "It's fine. I fixed it. That will never happen again." Because you got to find the glitches to fix the glitches. And from that show on, I think there has never been. I have never had a show without some kind of glitch. So
really?
I'm sitting there and I'm going, breathe, because this is how it works. I had one time, I had 2 weeks in a row, I had no guests. They had to cancel. The one, somebody in the family passed away. The next one, they got food poisoning. I blame the husband for that, because you never go to a brand new restaurant and both eat the same thing. And then the third week, there was a glitch, and I was like, okay, this is just not happening. And then I couldn't figure it out, but the next week, my guest had to cancel. I was like, okay. So the guest who couldn't get through because of the glitch, I said, "You're free next week." He went, "Yeah, exactly." So we fixed the glitch that happened with him during that week, and it went smoothly. But there was not as smooth can get with me. So like I said, for me, I just breathe, because I can get nervous, I can get stressy, but it doesn't do you any good to stress. So I just sit there. Take a deep breath and okay, let's fix it, people. Yeah, we're gonna work it. And I think it took me about 4 or 5 times to get into our conversation, but it was like it was fun, And it was. I always say it's Spirit's way of telling you, breathe through it.
Yeah,
we're gonna be fine.
Yeah. And that reminds me, there was one time, if anyone goes on my Facebook page, I was doing a live and I was trying to bring someone in with a live video, and every time I tried to do it, it would crash. So actually, I went 4 times, and then I finally just went, look, on the 4th, I just went, look, we won't bring anyone I won't bring anyone in. Let's just do this. I was like, seriously, and it was hysterical. It was awesome, but you have to go with the flow, because if you get frustrated, then things just don't work. It's like when you're trying to find something and you can't find it, and then all of a sudden, like 2 days later, you're not even looking for it. You're looking for something else, and that other thing appears that you've been looking for 2 days ago. So it makes sense with energy how it just, if you get too frustrated, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. When you're looking madly for something, stop looking madly for it. Take a deep breath and walk away. I'll have, like, for me, my day job, people will be like looking for their debit cards and going frantic because they're at my cash to pay their gas or to pay their cigarettes or whatever it is that they're buying, and they're going nuts. Okay, and I'll be like, okay, stop, take a deep breath, close your eyes. Where was the last place you had the card? I don't know. I said, stop talking. Just think, where was the last place you had your card? And they'll be like, okay, when I went to this store, I said, where did your hand, when you took your card back, where'd you put your hand in? And their hand would go in their purse or on their pocket. And there you go. You have to sort. And I got a line up of people behind me going, she's at it again. I said, yeah.
Yep.
You know, you cannot stress. Stress does absolutely nothing for you. You just sit neutral.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the fact that you just sit back and just go, That's the funniest. That's one of my lessons this year. Especially with that, with stressing and everything and lack of, I think it was October, I think I had about 2 to 3 weeks of sabbatical. I think Spirit just went, oh, well, if you want to do this, because I was looking at going part-time. And Spirit go, okay, well, if you want to look at part-time, let's just free up your calendar and you can do it. And I was just like, so I had no clients, I had nothing, and I was like, no money coming in, and I was like, I went to go and see one of my mentors, and she goes, so which button did you press? And I went, oh. I said, because of this and this happening. And then she goes, well, turn that switch off. And so I did. And then within 24 to 48 hours, I had 6 people asking for healings or readings. And I was just like, okay, I get the point. Thank you very much. So I don't stress. I just know it's going to be there. I've always had that. I always know that everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you buy into other people's stresses and other people's frustrations, and you say, no, it's all right. Let's just bring this back and bring it back to me, bring it back to self. And since then, I have been quite constant. So now I know. No more switches turning off, turning on anymore.
Well, that's a perfect example. Excuse me, Eric, who went to Bane guys. He had surgery to remove his thyroid. I'm touching my throat like you can see me. I had his thyroid removed. And so in his healing, he turned off his connection to spirit. And he was in the hospital longer than he should have been. And, things were going very slow. Nothing bad, nothing, but just for him, it's like, this is taking too long. But he turned off his switch to spirit. And then his guide came to see him and smacked him, as he said, smacked me upside the back of the head and says, you turned off the switch. He says, yeah, I don't want to connect. He says, why didn't you just say you don't want us to connect with you? And he turned off the whole switch. So the healing that they were sending to him wasn't working because he turned off he closed those doors. He turned off that switch. So the moment that he allowed open the window, turn on the switch, whatever you want to call it, the next day he was out of the hospital, and the scar from his surgery is like almost null and void. And he had some mega staples in there. I was like calling him Frankenstein. It was just before Halloween. But you forget, and when we can't shut down spirit because we shut down the whole thing. There's certain things that still need to stay open. I sit there and go, okay, during the day, people don't come in and get me at my work because I work in a very busy place, and it's not the place to sit down and have a conversation about spirituality or what somebody needs to, whatever the case may be. But, I'm open. Just make sure it's something that, if it needs to get through, I can't have anybody in this store. I cannot have people, I cannot have a lineup of people at my cash and, I'm getting a message for somebody. It just doesn't work that way. You have to figure out how. I cannot. I've learned not to shut it off, and Eric's was a prime example of what not to do. It's like, okay, fine. That was just like a confirmation of something that you didn't want to think about.
Exactly, and it's true that we can't. I mean, when I look back, because I used to be in customer service, I worked in customer service for 25 years. And so I started when I was 16, 17 in customer service, and I basically was blocking it out. It was there, but I was blocking it. To a point where I started, I think it was when I really started getting back into this and getting back into, because I say getting back into it because I know as a child I used to always look at a tree and feel it and hear it and just, it's just that sort of thing. And there was times where I look back and go, now I know why I was so drained every time I get home, because I'm working with the public.
Yep.
And I get so drained and go, because I wasn't protecting myself. I didn't set my boundaries.
Yeah.
So I was taking on other people's stuff. And I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So then I started wearing protection. I started making like my jewelry and things like that I set an intent that when I'm wearing my watch, I'm off. I'm here, but I'm off. I'm not reading anyone, not doing anything. And my whole energy changed.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Larry says, how does one turn it on or off? And I said, mirrors. One of the ways that I did it when I shut off is I put mirrors around me, facing out. So whatever comes at me, it works for both positive and negative. When what comes at me just bounces right back off into a reflected side. But it's not. I found out in some respects that's not a great way to do it, because when somebody sends negative at me, sending negative back is like two wrongs don't make a right. So I'll accept it and I'll just send them back, positive. So it takes
it's like mirrors of love.
Yep. So I can't send back them. And thank you, Tracy. She always wishes to see me at the cash because I'm the best. I think if I ever am leaving my job, I think my customers will be focused.
Oh yeah, and it's true. Like when I left, when I was made redundant, the girls basically revolted when I was made redundant in the office, because I went back, and it's interesting because with Spirit I went right. I need, because I was working in customer service, so I was working in retail. I was a store manager, so I'd be working like public holidays, weekends, and I set the intent that I no longer want to work weekends. If you want me to work with you, I can't work weekends anymore. I can't work public holidays. I want Monday to Friday. That's it, in an office, so I'm not with people constantly.
Yeah.
So I went into an office. Somehow this job just appeared. So I applied for it the day after it closed, and I got the job. So that was quite interesting. I went, okay, Spirit, thank you. And then when I was made redundant, I miss the people, but I don't miss the work. But I was learning more and more how to do boundaries. But being a store manager in a retail store was really hard.
Oh yeah,
really hard.
Yeah, so, I'm not a manager. I never want to be a manager, because I see all the stuff that you have to go through as what I call the head office stuff. And I just like being at my cash, and and I'm never negative at my cash. So Tracy says, she's a friend here. She says, I can't imagine anyone being negative with you. You're always so pleasant. Because when you start coming into my store and you start yelling and screaming at the price of gas or the price of this, and I'm just still looking at you, shaking my head, and I got a big old smile on my face, and I'm just letting you go. Because I know sometimes people need that outlet. People need to have that release valve. And I don't take it personally. I used to, but I don't take it personally anymore. It's not worth it. Again, boundaries are important, yes, but it's a stress thing. Like, you okay, scream and yell all you want, and you can be rude and disrespectful and all you want. But when it's done, you're done. I actually had somebody do that once, got very, very rude and disrespectful. And the next time they came in, they came in and with their head hanging down like a little lost puppy and going, I'm really sorry for what I said and what I'm such an ass. I went, yes, you were. But I still love you today. And I go, but it just depends on how we work. I like the idea for you is a watch. When you have this watch on, you're closed spirit, and God forbid if I have one watch that I wear to work all the time. So I think that's what I'll do. Guys, you see this watch? That means I'm on the job. I'm not for spirit.
Yeah.
On the regular.
Yeah, I'm on the physical job. And it's interesting when I was at My Body and Spirit, I take it off and then I put it back on at the end of the day, and I'm like, that's it. I learned that from Lisa Williams. Actually, she had a watch, and also a beautiful medium who I'm friends with, Matthew James, who used to wear a bracelet. So even before I was doing readings, I met him, and he goes, I'm off, my bracelet's on. I just went, It's a really good idea because on a physical level, you've got to remember that we have to switch off. We have to not switch off as in spirit's not always around us, but we've got to be human. We've got to be in our human head because if we're not, I was going to say away with the fairies because it's not away with the fairies. When we're in the energy of spirit and everything around it, there's got to be a balance. Otherwise, we just lose who we are and lose what we're here for. But yeah, the watch is a really good thing for me. I love it.
I like the idea of that. And that was another name to add to my list.
Sorry, what was that?
I said that was another name to add to my list. You've given me 3 names, 2 I caught, and the 3rd one I haven't, but I know it'll come back.
Yeah. So Stacey DeMarco, Lisa Cavendish. There's Matthew James is a UK medium that lived over in Australia for quite some time. So, and now he's back in the UK. So yeah. But he's pretty awesome too.
Oh, that's what it's like. You never know. Okay. Oh, Stacey DeMarco, that's the Modern Witch.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Is she wearing a polar bear suit? My goodness, that's cute.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. So, I've met her once, but I get her. She's got a beautiful. She has a moon, like a diary with all the moon phases and gorgeous little spells and incarnations and things like that throughout the year. And she does one every year. And I've been buying them for the last 5 years, I think. And they're fantastic because it gives you what you can, like when it's good time to sow seeds, cut your hair, all that sort of stuff. So it's pretty awesome. Last year, I think, was the first year she's done it for the Northern Hemisphere. So, yeah, I think it was last year. It was the first time. So, yeah, that was really cool. But I just love it because everything, for me, it's all seasons and just respecting the season. And, yeah, so even though it's like, it's really interesting because people go, oh, it's Halloween. And I'm like, but in the Southern Hemisphere, it's not really Halloween. It's Beltane, it's not Samhain, but it still has the same energy, so it's quite interesting.
And this is what I love about conversation. Like, you and I normally wouldn't be sitting down talking because it's my nighttime, it's your morning, but I make this show available so that people get to listen, get to learn. Now everybody who gets to listen to the show gets to learn 3 names of 3 different people that for some reason might need to connect with them. You know, and this is what this is what this show is about. This show is about teaching people. We got somebody in the call. Teaching people to get to know each other before just assuming that this person is just like this. Like I had a guest on the other day, last couple of weeks ago, and you look at him and he looks like a biker, scruffy beard. You think he's and he was a demonologist, so you think he worked for demons. No, this guy, he investigates demons, he finds them there, and then he says to the church, because he works with the church, this is what's going on here, go take care of it. He's not the one who gets rid of it. But he just has this look about him. It's like, I call him a biker dude, But he's not. He's a big, he had his first snowfall big baby. And he was like standing out in the snow with his tongue out. He was always in Florida. And I have no idea where he is right now, but there's snow. And he's like a big old baby. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But this is what I love about this show, and we're gonna bring this to a close because it's 8:25, and I hope you have some food waiting for me. But this is what I love about this show is it brings people together, and it gets you to know different people. So big teddy bears. So I thank you very much for being on the show. Everybody, don't forget. www.Jordie, Jordie, James.com.au. Find her on Facebook. She's Jordie Psychic Medium. I'm going to put it one more time in the, oops, lost the chat room. One more
Well,
time.
thank you so much, Darlene, for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's so good to connect with everyone, and it's like-minded, and it was so much fun. It was really, I love it. Thank you.
It to be. It's just, like I said, the two girls sitting down having a conversation with people sitting and eavesdropping.
All I can say is I could sit with you for a whole day and chat. It's been an absolute honour. I loved it so much. So thank you again for asking me for being in the show.
Have a great evening. Have a great week. Actually, it's going to be a couple of weeks because next week I have no show. I have booked off. I'll still be around, but just won't be a show. So I'll see you in 2 weeks, hopefully. I can find a guest. Y'all behave, y'all be good, and know that I love you. Yeah.
Thanks, JP. Love it. Okay.
All right.
Well, have a lovely evening, darling.
You have a great
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.